So for week 3, you have a required critical thinking exercise, or CTE. For this week, we're actually going to do this for weeks 3 and 4 because there are 2 parts to it. And it is part of the new rollout of the EXACT program, which is supposed to be effectively tracking how well students are learning critical thinking. So while this is early in the semester, it is one of the 5 exercises that they have provided. We're doing one of the first ones because this is a primary source analysis, which fits nicely in with what I plan to do in the class. Anyway, so with that in mind, and since this is asynchronous, I'm going to talk you through the instructions for what you're doing. The first thing I want to do is give you some background on the requirement itself. El requiramiento. So imagine yourself living in the early 1500s in the Western Hemisphere, mostly in Central or South America, perhaps in the Southeast, because Ponce de Leon's explorers went through Florida, Georgia, all the way to Alabama, up into the what we call the Carolinas today, exploring as well. They left records. So imagine yourself living in one of the villages. This is your home. This is your village itself. These are your families and friends in the marketplace. You spend your days doing the very hard work of producing food, but you do this, the farming and the types of raised farm beds that the natives produce, particularly in Central and South America along the hills. You're going about your daily work, farming, you're with your family, and you see off the coast, assuming that you're perhaps in Peru, where the mountains are right next to the coast, you see a strange vessel, something you've never seen before. And from it emerge these strange men. They take smaller boats and cross from their big vessels to land. And upon arrival, one of them opens up something you've never seen before and begins to speak in a language you've never heard. This is the man speaking. You recognize him as a man, a very different man from you, very strangely dressed. If you could see the scroll, this is effectively what you would see, but you can't read, certainly not their language. So this is all very alien to you. All right. The man was a conquistador. The document is the requirement. It was written in 1513 by Juan Lopez Palacio Rubios, a Spanish lawyer. He was aided by Spanish theologians, and that means men in the Catholic Church who decided what was and wasn't proper under the Catholic Church. The requirement was meant to be read to all natives at the first encounter, and it was meant to be read in Spanish. All right, so what you're going to be doing in the first part of this exercise is reading an abbreviated version of the requirement. You will be reading it in English. The focus of this particular exercise is to help you come to understand what is referred to as the purpose of a primary source. Remember that a primary source is a document written in the past by people living there. In this case, it was written by Juan Lopez Palacios Rubios with the help of Spanish theologians, and it was written over a period of time, but finally produced, the final document, in 1513. The questions you're going to be considering have to do with why the document was written and what it was supposed to do, what the intentions were of the men who produced it. So, to do this, you are going to go to our content page on D2L or Brightspace or My Courses, whatever it was. On the left side of the module, right here, where we've talked before, or the left side is where all the modules are. And you're going to go to week 3, but you're actually going to go below week 3 to right here, the Activity 1 Primary Source Activity, because that's what this effectively is. When you click on that link, this is what you will see. Primary Source Activity, the Requirement Part 1, Primary Source Activity, the Requirement Part 2, and then a file of CTE sample answers. For Part 1, the actual analysis of the requirement, you're going to click on that first link, Primary Source Activity, the Requirement Part 1, and it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. Once you get there, you're going to click on this link. Actually, here we go. I'll go to the next page, which will download for you the actual activity. What you're going to need to do is save that document once you download it. Save it somewhere on your computer that you can remember. Then you're going to read the abbreviated version of the requirement that is there, translated into English. You're going to answer the questions that come after it. You're going to save those answers to your computer, and then you're going to go to Primary Source Activity, the requirement. It's back up here. Once you've finished, you're going to go here, Submissions, click on that, and it will take you to the Dropbox, which is also accessible by going to Activities, Assignments, and you're going to upload it. That is all you have to do for the first part. It is due by Saturday night. Now, the second part you can do either after uploading the first part. You may do it over the course of next week. It too will be due the Saturday night of week 4. After you've submitted your answers, you're going to go back to the module itself and click on Primary Source Activity Part 2 Updated. You will see this. And what this is going to require you to do, you're going to watch this short video, which is one that I've made, and it's going to repeat a lot of what I'm saying right here, but when you get there, you'll need it. You're going to then go to the folder with the CTE sample answers, and you're going to pick one of them. You're going to pick one. You will then download the link available here. It says the rubric, the following folders, where you're going to use the scoring rubric that's right there. Click on that. It will download a second document, the scoring rubric itself, to your computer, and then you're going to read the answers of the whichever sample you've chosen, and you're going to score each one of them based on what the scoring rubric says. It's actually not as hard as it sounds like. You will then explain why you gave that particular allocation of points. Then you're going to save the document to your computer. You're going to go to the second Dropbox for this activity, which you can either do through the Dropbox itself here, or you can, well, actually, sorry, here, this one, or you can go to the assignments Dropboxes, and it is there also. It's actually called CTE Week 4 there to upload it. Then you must do this part. This is the part that I can't actually grade either section of this until you do this part. This is the part for the exact people. Once you've uploaded your scored response to the second Dropbox, you must go to the last link on part 2, the reflection activity. That's this one right here. Sorry, didn't mean to move that. This one right here. History 112 reflection activity, directions for students. It's going to be a video that explains to you how to get to that reflection. It's not that hard. You're going to go to the web page. At the top of our web page, there is a across the top where you have, content and activities and all of that. There is one that's called what's it called? It's the web page formerly via. It's a SL something formerly via. You're going to click on that, and it's going to take you to a list of all the courses that you have. You're going to click on History 1112, and then under that there will be a link to the actual questions that you need to answer, the reflection. You absolutely have to do that part. I can't grade any of this until you do that reflection, because that reflection is what the people in the exact program need so that they can gauge how well this exercise has helped you consider things like the intentions of written sources, why people write them and what's going on with them, which is a big part of what the critical thinking is. It's only 3 questions. They are short answer questions in that you kind of have to think and support your answers, but they're really not that hard. Once you do that, I will be able to access this. Actually, if you're wise, once you do that, what you'll do is you'll send me the confirmation that you've done that so that I can then grade your week 3 and week 4 CTE so that we can start getting those grades in the grade book as well. All right, so again, in this case, the first part where you actually analyze the requirement itself is due by this coming Saturday, week 3 Saturday. The scoring assessment is due by the week 4 Saturday, and then the reflection exercise is due by that following week 4 Monday, so that I can then try to start grading you ahead. As I said, if you're smart, you'll go ahead and just do it all at one time if you can, or do it in 1 week and knock it out and it's done, and then you don't have to worry about the CTE for week 4. And it does build on each other. It's actually, once you actually fill out the rubric yourself, once you answer the questions yourself about the interpretation of the requirement, I think it's easier personally to go and score somebody else. Now, to be fair, you're not actually scoring them. What you're doing, what I'm grading you on, is how well you support why you would give that score in the course of the thing. That's what I'm grading you on for the week 4 part. But as I said, then you must also go and do the actual reflection before I can do anything. All right. So with that in mind, again, here's your timeline. Analysis, the requirement itself, your analysis is due by this coming Saturday. The scoring part of it is due by the following Saturday, and then the reflection is due by the Monday that ends week 4. All right, if you have any questions, email me and I will do this again. And like I said, that video that you watch before scoring, that's going to explain a lot more about how to go about scoring it and the point allocations that are there. It's on the rubric for the scoring that you're going to download. And then the video for the reflection is a very short, I think it's like 3 minutes long video explaining to you how to get to where the actual reflection activity is. Once you finish that reflection, it'll give you a little thing that's a certification. You can forward that to me so that I'll know that I can go in and start grading these. It's not hard. It's just a little complicated because this is something that within the next 5 years, every department will have to do one of the exact exercises in their courses. We're starting in history with the Civ 2 course. I had to do this last semester as well for all the Civ 2 classes, but they're going to start adding it into all the other classes as well. So, and you'll be the same in everything else. If you've taken an iTech 100 level course, you've already done this as well. So they're going to add these across the board to everything. So jump in, Get familiar with it. You're going to be seeing more of these as you go through your academic career, especially in the state of Georgia. But I think they're trying to roll these out nationally as well. So, all right, with that in mind, that's what you need to do. Um, Again, if you have any questions, email me, and I look forward to seeing your parts of this activity done.